Hello everyone. So Fighter keeps on making some interesting news every day and it just doesn't stop. One of the beauty of this movie is that it is chugging along and many people are still writing it off, but trust me, this movie is, there's an adage, this movie has a lot of mileage. It is going to keep on growing, and right now we are in a setup where everything has literally come back to normal. So essentially the collections of movies are going to peak during weekends, and it is going to fall during the weekdays, and it is again going to peak during the weekends, as it used to happen pre-lockdown. So that is how Fighter is going to go ahead and fare in the days to come. And the good thing about this movie is that this is a movie which you should watch in a hall in 3D. That is one of the USPs. So people will go back to the halls to keep on rewatching it again. You will not get that same experience when you're watching it in your mobile phone or in your tab or in your home in your TV. So that is the USP, and I think people will keep on going back to the halls to watch the dog fights and everything. But yes, what the collections are going to be like, it is more of a kind of a bell curve collection. That is, it will peak during the weekends and then it will fall during the weekdays and then again it will peak during the weekends, and that is how it is going to go up. And it is going to make some very good business during the holy weekend, wherein if when people after playing holy, probably in the evening they might actually go ahead and watch the movie. So we are looking for a big spike during that time also. So I have a feeling Fighter is going to generate a lot of business as it moves along. Okay, it is probably one of the first movies which has been released in kind of a post lockdown scenario where everything is back to normal. Everything, people are going back to offices. There's no as such scares with respect to viruses or anything, and things are looking up, and everything has finally flipped back to normal. So based on that, uh, the collections will definitely resemble a kind of a pattern as I told you, but it will slowly move along and it will become a massive hit. More so because of the global connection. The very fact that it is doing so well globally is that the global audience has accepted it. And probably if we go ahead and examine the global collections, then we'll see that probably it's just not Indians who are going there and watching the movie. There's something new within Fighter which people are enjoying and liking. A Bollywood aerial combat movie making so much money overseas. It's it's a wonderful news. Now, of course, now what was I going to talk about? The the basic thing is, why wasn't Bekar Dil released earlier, right? Why wasn't the song Bekar Dil released earlier? Why did they release it later? And how it will play into the collections of Fighter? So essentially, it's a segment on that. The reason the makers did not go for Bekar Dil, now this is totally my interpretation. The reason why they didn't go for Bekar Dil earlier when the movie released was because it was a very direct song between Ritik and Deepika Padukone, and it showed them having a kind of a romantic encounter, a literally hot, sultry romantic encounter, and they didn't know how well people would accept it, be it from the Indian Air Force, be it the general audience. How will they react to a person who is in the armed forces, who is going ahead and actually romancing a lady who also belongs in the Indian armed forces? And how it will play into the believability of this movie, how they were going to introduce it into that movie. Suppose the movie was not accepted by the general public, this song would have become a meme fest. So they were a little apprehensive about this song, whether they should go ahead and release it with the movie and how it will be accepted within the general audience. So they went for a safer song, which was the buddy song, because they realized that okay, fine, in Top Gun you've got all these scenes where the buddies are bonding together over beer and everything. So Sher Kulge, that song was more of a buddy song. It was not much of a kind of a song where Ritik and Deepika they are actually romancing each other. It is more of a buddy song where even Anil Kapoor jumps in, dances. So that was a more acceptable song within the framework in which they were working, and that was a safer song to put in and market the movie with. Now, after releasing the movie, they've realized this movie is really doing well, and people have accepted it, people have loved the movie, and they got slapped by a legal notice. Now, trust me, this has actually worked well for the movie. The very fact that they have been slapped by the legal notice, because now they are not fearful of anything. The moment you are slapped by this legal notice, what happens is it's a double-edged sword. Okay, you're slapped by the legal notice. You have to appear in court. You have to explain your stand. Fine. I think they already knew this could happen, right? Now, the moment this happens, they realize, okay, fine. So if I have been slapped by a legal notice wherein Ritik and Deepika are kissing in uniform at the climax, and we have to explain that stand to a court, it doesn't hurt to actually go ahead and release the Bekaar Dil song, which is so hummable, which is so foot tapping. People are loving the song in YouTube. People want to see it in the movie in a wide screen, and there's nothing's going to hurt us anymore because we are as it is going to court to actually defend our stand with respect to Ritik romancing Deepika. So we can definitely go ahead and release this song because already the legal implications regarding them both romancing has been touched upon by an issue earlier, for which we will have to explain our stand. So the legal part, they know they have to explain their stand, so now it won't hurt them to actually go ahead and put the song in. And I, based on that stand which they take in court, good or bad, ugly, whatever happens there, they will be explaining the stand, and that will cover this song also. That is number one. Number two, they know now that this movie has been accepted. They loved Ritik, loved Ritik's character, they loved the story. Majority of the audience. I'll be very frank with you. If you look at all the rave reviews which are coming, you will see a very minuscule part of people who are actually criticizing this movie or hating this movie. I'm going to use a very strong word, hating this movie. Majority of the public have loved this movie. They've accepted him as a fighter pilot, and now if they introduce this song, already the perception about Ritik has been formed based on this movie. So they already have accepted him. So if they throw in this romantic number, it will just enhance the viewing quotient, and people would probably go to the halls more to actually watch this on a giant screen because they want to watch Ritik and Deepika romancing each other. The Ritik phenomena is very interesting. The Ritik phenomena is that he's like aloo, he's like a potato. So when you actually put him with Aishwarya Rai or you put him with Deepika Padukone, you put him with any attractive heroine, he will create chemistry from nowhere. He will he's that kind, he's a Greek god. So people just love to watch Ritik with a beautiful woman, and they want to see the what exactly, like the sparkling chemistry and everything. So this song right now in Fighter, right now in Fighter, this song right now in Fighter is going to actually help the movie a lot. And introduction of this song at this point of time by the makers is a master stroke, because earlier, as I told you, they were apprehensive that if they go ahead and introduce this song at any place of this movie, it would probably hurt the believability of this movie, that uh, two fighter pilots, one fighter pilot and the other a helicopter, like the lady, both of them are in the air force, and they are actually going somewhere exotic and romancing each other and singing this song and all that. Come on, how can this happen? So they were apprehensive of that fact, because apart from that, this song is the best song of Fighter, but they did not release it with the movie. So they wanted to watch and see what exactly happens with the movie. Now the movie has been established, more or less a major amount of people have already watched the movie. They have formed an opinion about this movie. They have accepted Ritik Roshan as Patty and even Deepika Padukone as the combat helicopter pilot. They have accepted it. Now if you introduce this song, what is happening is you are adding salt and pepper and pepperoni and everything, and you're just enhancing the movie. Now it is not going to hurt the movie. Now it is going to be that extra pizzazz or the chutzpah which is going to make the movie move forward. Moreover, they have already been slapped the legal notice, so they are not scared of anything. There were always that feeling that what can happen if I put this, what could be the legal repercussion or something. They've already been hit by the legal notice, so they will go for it. They will go ahead. They have to defend themselves. So putting the song in, and they really don't care about the legal ramification, because that is already there in the first place. So an absolute master stroke by the makers of Fighter. I'm telling you, I watched movies, I analyzed them, and I am enthralled by the way this movie has been marketed. Despite a ban from 7 countries, this movie is doing such amazing business. Of course, I will be making a video also on why this movie has been banned in 7 countries, despite this movie having an inclusivity message. But why was it banned? What was the tonal problem with this movie which led to this ban? And I think probably with more word of mouth, people will understand this movie is more about a fight against terrorism and not a fight against any specific nation or community of people. So I think hope with over time this happens and that ban is lifted from those 7 countries and they love the movie for what it is. But yes, there is a little bit of a tonal overdose, I would say, or a tonal overkill at the very end when Ritik is hitting the villain. I think they could have done away with that dialogue where he says India occupied Pakistan. If they could have actually done away with that dialogue, trust me, this movie would have been accepted in more countries. They could have done many things with the dialogue. That part when he punches the villain and he keeps on saying India occupied Pakistan or something, that is a tonal inconsistency which hits inclusivity, which is present in Pathan and which is present in Tiger 3. The message of inclusivity, the message of all of us coming together to fight terrorism, that is there. But that small line, that those 3 or 4 lines, even though it looks good and you feel as an Indian, there's a lot of jingoistic patriotism thrown in when he punches Rishabh Shawni at the end and he keeps on saying that India occupied Pakistan and all those things. He hits him with the kolshi, whatever. But that is where the tonal inconsistency happens, and that is the reason why it is banned in 7 countries. So that is an area which I think the makers could have worked upon, and they could have written much better dialogues at that point of time. Just for that small mistake, I would say it's a mistake actually, because okay, you can put any dialogues there, you can make it more about a fight against terrorism, isn't it? Amplify that. You won't get banned in 7 countries, right? And that would lead to, just think about it, maybe an extra 20 to 30 crores. So think about it, just one small line at the end, and you're losing 20 to 30 crores. So I don't know. That is something maybe the makers can look into. Maybe they can redub it. It's not just a small line. Maybe they can do something about it and make it a little less jingoistic. That would probably work for this movie a little more. I hope you like this segment about why I feel Bekaar Dil was introduced now, and how I feel it is definitely going to enhance the business of Fighter. Fighter will not stop. It is a movie for the ages. It is the first hit of 2024, and I think with a little bit of luck and a little more careful planning, now it is probably destined, it can become a blockbuster. But a little bit more tweaking and clever planning is required in the weeks to come in order to make it reach the blockbuster status. This is a movie which will grow. This is not a movie which is like a blitzkrieg or a juggernaut, like other two or Pathan. But we need to realize those movies were released at a time when still, uh, like the general audience or even the urban audience, they were not like they didn't have very strict office working hours, so they had a lot of time to spare to watch a movie or rewatch it. And there was a massive interest of Sunny Deol and SRK returning with a very attitudinal action movie. So everybody was missing. So that kind of completely made up for a rampaging box office. Right now, it is difficult because, as I told you, the first and primary aspect is stringent office working hours. That is impacting households, and that is impacting, secondly, inflation, recession, massive layoffs. People are scared of their jobs. People are cutting corners. You have to look at all the things which are happening as a kind of a domino effect. Now, suppose a person needs to go to office. Earlier, he could probably go to office for 2 to 3 days or something like that. He didn't have to worry about his transport, right? Now he has to go. Now he has to think about his petrol. Now he has to think about his car. Now he has to think about whether taking the shuttle for a month, 4,000 bucks or so on and so forth. So he's thinking about a lot of things before he actually goes to a mall to watch a movie, and essentially a very urban movie like Fighter. So these things have worked into this kind of a bell curve collection, which I told about. Again, it's a very corporate thing which I'm saying. The bell curve collection is in weekends it will peak, and in the weeks to come, that is the following weeks, it will fall, and again it will rise. But there is one very interesting thing which I will be telling you about, and that is APAC. That is like I'm talking about the Chinese, Japanese, the that region. Um, you will notice if fighter is which has released there, you will notice a spike during weekdays now. The overseas collection are going to rocket up in these countries, the Asia Pacific region, those parts, because they are going to approach their New Year, Chinese New Year, Japanese New Year. They have that time, and all of them are going to holidays, and all of them love Ritik like anything. So even the weekdays, the global collection will just skyrocket. So you have no idea how this movie is going to go. I can understand the market dynamics, so that's why I'm saying you will be pleasantly surprised. This is what I'm telling all the people who are the Fighter producers and everything in Marflix. You've done a great job. I wish someday you actually talk to me and you take me. I would love to take the story of Fighter ahead. That is something that is my dream. Or maybe create stories for you. I can write stories. Maybe not the screenplay and the dialogues are a little difficult. Maybe parts of dialogues I can write. Parts of scenes I'm just a budding, like not budding, sorry, aspiring script writer. I'm trying to write, and I think it has a lot of potential, this franchise, and it will just grow from strength to strength. And hope you like this segment. Bekar Dil will work for this movie like anything. It's the best song of Fighter, and it's picturized like a dream. Both of them are looking like dreams. Both of them are showboating like dreams, as in Deepika and Ritik, and it is just going to work wonders for Fighter. Thank you, everyone. Hope you like this segment. Bye bye.